Five's the call.
Don't know what you did, but you didn't hit the club.
Change
No
holds.
club.
Call from Dustin. Jimmy calls. Evan bet 15.
Somebody's got to be good at line. Heading these 4 hands in a row and I flop one every fucking time almost.
Chris makes it 60.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin calls. Jimmy calls.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stack Social Live, Stack Social Club in Lubbock, Texas. We're located at 5004 Frankfort Avenue here in Lubbock. Sorry, we're getting a little bit of a late start tonight. We had some technical difficulties, but we're continuing to work those out. We're going to get this thing solid. So, we got a 2-5 no limit going tonight. We got a little bit of a smaller table right now, but we'll be going here in just a second. We'll have a full table before you know it, I'm sure. So, but we're continuing to work those out. We're gonna get this thing solid. So, Lubbock legend Chris, Dustin, Jimmy D, and Shane Lowe at the table right now. We got a 2-5 no limit going tonight. Again, we're playing a 2-5 no limit game. Smaller table right now, but guys, we play a 2-5 no limit game on Monday and Wednesday. If you guys ever want to get in on that, just make sure you call up, get on the list, and Lubbock legend Chris, they'll certainly get you a seat. Jimmy D and Shane Lowe. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are going to have our $10,000 guarantee on Saturday, July 8th at 2 p.m. That is going to be a $10,000 guarantee, $150 buy-in. It's a tournament that always surpasses the guarantee. We always end up with anywhere from 12 to 15K. We've had as much as 17K in the pot. Sometimes get even bigger than that. So. Right now we're getting into a decent little hand here with 2 hearts flopping ace, ace, 6. So not a lot of action, but Lubbock legend with the flush draw. That is going to be a $10,000 guarantee. Chris going to take a shot out of here with the pair of 7s in his hand. That always surpasses the guarantee. Early on, Jimmy's going to play pretty loose here. He wouldn't surprise me if he makes this call. Just wanted to see if somebody's bluffing or not. But, sometimes get even bigger than that. So right now we're getting into a decent little hand here with 2 hearts flopping ace, ace, 6. So not a lot of action, but Lubbock legend with the flush draw. Chris going to take a shot out of here with the pair of 7s in his hand. Chris and Lubbock legend now. Lubbock legend making the call. Pretty loose here. He wouldn't surprise me. And it's going to be a jack on the river. So Lubbock legend is going to have the better hand here. Now it's just a matter of whether Chris can bet him off of it or not. Chris does check it to him. So let's see what Chris decides to do here. Let's see if he decides to raise it up and see if he can get him out of it. He does not raise him. He just makes the call, and he's going to call into a loss there. Lubbock legend making the call. It's a tough spot to be in right there. A raise might get you a win there, but it's hard to make the raise. Chris does check it to him. So let's see what Chris decides to do here. Let's see if he decides to raise it up and see if he can get him out of it. He does not raise him. He just makes the call. And Tanya here in the box again tonight. Tanya always doing a great job. She was the dealer, second half dealer in the Monday night game. I want to remind you guys as you're coming in to watch, please go smash that like button. help us get our content out, go ahead and share the link as well on your social media. Tanya here in the box again tonight. Tanya always doing a great job. She was the dealer. Jimmy Dang looking down at pocket nines raises to $35. Want to remind you guys as you're coming in to watch, Dustin makes the call with a Jack 8 offsuit. Help us get our content. So we're going to go to a turn heads up. I mean a flop heads up here. He does flop a jack. Jimmy Dang looking down. So Jimmy D now playing from behind. Two of spades on the turn. No help for anyone. It does bring in the flush draw, but Dustin going to take a shot at it here. Jimmy probably going to make the call just because he doesn't believe the flush. To the river, and it is going to be a six of spades. Should slow the betting down from either side. Dustin's probably going to check here, which will let Jimmy make a run at it if he wants to. He may not want to this early on, and he's not. He's going to show down his pocket nines and show a losing hand. Dustin going to take a shot at it here. Jimmy probably going to make the call just because he doesn't believe the flush. To the river, and it is going to be a six of spades. Should slow the betting down from either side. Dustin's probably going to check here, which will let Jimmy make a run at it if he wants to. He may not want to this early on, and he's not. He's going to show down his pocket nines and show a losing hand. Dustin going to take a shot at it here. Jimmy probably going to make the call just because he doesn't believe the flush. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our $100 bounty tournament, $100 buy-in, $25 bounties for every player you knock out. So that'll be a 7 p.m. Cards in the air. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our $100 bounty tournament, $100 buy-in, $25 bounties for every player you knock out. So that'll be a 7 p.m. Cards in the air. Lubbock Legend with pocket twos and the wheel draw here. Going to pick up the pot with just a little bit of a bet. Ruben pre-flop raising 50% of the time. Dustin down at the bottom at 10% of the time. Legend with pocket twos and the wheel draw here. Going to pick up the pot with just a little bit of a bet. If you're here watching, hop into the chat and say hello. Let me know that you're paying attention. Let me know that you're hearing me good, etc., etc. Ruben pre-flop raising 50% of the time. Dustin down at the bottom at 10% of the time. If you're here watching, hop into the chat and say hello. Let me know that you're paying attention. Let me know that you're hearing me good, etc., etc. We had a little bit of feedback going on in there, and I don't know why, but we got rid of that for you. Still just a six-handed table right now, but we're getting some good action. Shane Lowe with the ace-jack offsuit here up against the Lubbock legend with the two spades in his hand, queen five. Picks up that flush draw. And Jimmy D is in on that hand as well. He does make the bet. Queen on the turn, though, now heads up between the Lubbock legend and Jimmy D. Jimmy D leading out for $75 or $100, I guess. And Evan moving all in. And Jimmy going to look down. And he makes the call. Let's see what he looks at. He has a 6. I can't tell what his other card is. 8-6. So he has a pair of 8s. Oh my gosh. And it is a 6 on the river. Wow. What a beat. What a bad beat for Evan there. That's gross. Absolutely gross. So Jimmy D now leading the chip count at 620 in chips. Ruben at 195, bringing up the tail end. Lubbock legend still sitting there in the middle with about 550. Common Sense says, what's up, Stacks? Loves the stream. Well, I'm glad you love the stream. Keep coming in and keep watching. Chris with a king 6 offsuit. Lubbock legend at 8-7 suited, and Dustin with the king jack offsuit. Shane Lowe making the call as well with the 5-4. Folds, to the raise with a 5-4. The 4-5 is not going to be in too bad a shape, though. And that king 6 is not happy he folded. So the 8-7 making the call. Dustin over here with top pair. It is a 10 on the turn. Two hearts and two spades, so it does bring in the flush draw opportunity. Although neither player are going to be able to make a flush out of this hand. Dustin making the bet, and Evan going to go ahead and go away on that one. I'm sure we'll see some players coming in here in a little bit and find out whether this table will loosen up or tighten up. Hadn't been a whole lot of chip movement, but we'll see. Depends on who's coming in. Ace Queen for Jimmy D now suited. Evan with the Jack 4. Evan doesn't get tilted too very often, so sometimes you want to call because the guy that beats you's in and you want to see if you can sneak up on him with some basic cards, but he's not going to do that. 2-3 on the flop. Dustin flopping 2 pair. Shane Lowe flopping the top pair. Ruben with the straight draw. And Jimmy D not really flopping too much of anything. He does pick up a diamond on the flop, but not 2. Shane going to go away with the top pair. Chris betting it out with a pair of twos and getting 3 callers along the way. So this could be a very interesting turn card. Say a 5 of diamonds would be interesting. Jimmy Dang picking up the top pair now. He turns top pair. So at this point, nobody's going to pick up a flush. Ruben needs a 4 for a straight here. But Dustin's still leading away with a 3 deuce. Tanya always friendly, waving at everybody that walks in the door. And it is a river 2. Wow. It's a good thing that Chris got out of the way there, because he'd be sitting here with trip 2s, probably feeling pretty comfortable about it. And Dustin picking up the boat. So a good fold by Chris. Not that it was a tough fold, but it was a good fold, because if he sees that river card, he's losing his stack more than likely. So Dustin with a 3-2 picking up the boat and picking up the pot. Jimmy Dang not liking the way his hands are going so far tonight. Dustin now taking the chip lead at $836. Jimmy D sitting in the middle at $450. Now Shane's sitting over there in the one seat getting a kick out of whatever I said. Everybody will find out what I said in just a little bit, I'm sure. All right. That was a quickie. Nobody getting any satisfaction out of that quickie, though, except the person winning the big blinds. VPIP right now, Lubbock Legend at 51%, leading the way. That's a little bit of a surprise. Although he never has a very low one, he usually doesn't get real high compared to the table. At least not real high with his VPIP. Tanya doing a real good job about making sure these guys are getting their cards scanned, and I appreciate that. It helps my ability to do my job. Notice I didn't say ability to do my job good. I just said ability to do my job. So I don't need to see any chats about that. Lubbock Legend going to make the call here with a 7-4 of clubs, which does not surprise me at all. Good positioning. There's enough money in the pot to see if he can catch. Raised to 20 from Dustin with a Queen 10 suited. So Jimmy Dang with a King 9 and an Ace 10 8 on the flop. No real help for Evan here, so he probably will jump out of this hand just as soon as possible. But it's going to be checked around, so he's going to get to see a turn. And it is a 4. So it is a 4. He could choose to make a bet here, but he doesn't. Dustin with a pair of 10s going to go ahead and see how he's sitting in this hand. He's going to make a bet here of about $35. Is a bet of 35. And Evan now picking up a pair, going to go ahead and make the call here. And it's a 7, an 8 on the river, so check, check. And Dustin going to win it with a pair of 10s, going to pick up a $60, $80 profit. Got a few more people coming in to watch. While you're coming in to watch, please smash that like button. Smash that like button. Let us know that you're watching. Say something in the chat. Come talk to me. Evan doesn't look too engaged right now. I don't know if he's watching a movie or if he's bored or Who knows? Again, we got Shane in the 1 seat, Dustin in the 2 seat, Jimmy Dang in the 3 seat. Dustin, not a real familiar face. He hasn't played very often on the live stream at all. Shane as well, although he's a fairly familiar face to Stacks, he is not a regular on the live stream. And then you've got Evan, of course, Lubbock legend in the 6th seat. And Chris in the 10. And a queen 4 deuce on the flop. Top pair for Jimmy, and with a 7-6 in Chris's hand. He does pick up 1 diamond, but no real help to his hand. Jimmy going to put out the bet, and he is going to win. So looks like we have a new player coming in as well. If I recognize the hairdo, it's going to be Kid Poker. It's going to be Kevin in the 2 seat. In the 2 seat, it looks like 2 or 3. We'll see what actual seat they put him in, but he's sitting on that end of the table. Kid jumping right in the blind. Is that what happened? He is jumping right in on the big blind, and he's going to get raised immediately with an ace-jack. Jimmy Dang with an ace-queen. Something's not right. That can't be accurate. He did not fold an ace-queen. I can tell you that for sure. So Kid looking down at a 9-6 suited, $15 to call, and he is going to make the fold right off the bat. Cannot say I'm surprised. I know most of you who play regularly around the Lubbock area know who Kid Poker is. He's been in the Lubbock scene. He looks like he's about 12, but he's really about 30, 31, I think, something like that. They call him Kid Poker for the same reason, because he looks young. Some say Kid's a tight player. Kid says that there's other players that are tighter than him. I still contend that a sewed shut asshole is not as tight of a player as Kid is. I know I'll hear it from him on that one. I'm just busting your chops there, Kid. Don't get too upset. Shane, that's for you, buddy. With a deuce of diamonds on the river, Ace-Jack is going to take this hand if he doesn't get bet off of it, and he won't because it's going to check down. So Dustin winning a lot of check downs. That's very fortunate. Those are always nice to win because they're a decent amount of money if you can get to them. Now, Kid with the 0% aggression frequency because he just sat down. Now, in 2 hours, it'll probably be at 0%, and it'll be because he's a top player. Of course, my job here is not to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody mad. I'm just here busting chops. These guys, most of these guys know me, so they know I'm going to give them a hard time. And, of course, as soon as I walk out of the booth, they're going to give me one too. And so I guess I better have some thick skin by the time I walk out because I can dish it out. I sure hope I can take it as well. Ruben with the ace-10 offsuit, raising to $15 and getting a snap call from Chris. Kid going to look down at 8-7. He's going to make the fold. And Dustin, now with pocket tens, just makes the call. Don't know that I agree with that, but even though you're three-handed, I still think I'd like to see where I'm at. I probably three-bet there, but a really good flop for pocket tens. That is if you believe there's no other overpairs. It does check around, and I'm a little bit surprised because now Dustin has just allowed the table to catch up with him in the form of Chris catching a queen. This tiny bit of a mistake here probably going to cost Dustin the pot. Not only does Chris call, I was a little bit surprised he might not have raised with the diamonds on the board. But, however, it is an 8 of hearts, so no flush. Dustin being first to act is going to be a little bit aggressive here. I would be surprised if Chris doesn't just call. He does just call. Chris not too terribly aggressive when it comes to showdown value. If he does not believe that, if he does not have a pretty tough hand to beat, he typically is not going to raise for value unless he just feels like someone's bluffing. I know he never gets that vibe whenever we're playing. If I bet, he never thinks I'm bluffing. Sorry. I tried to say that with a straight face, but I couldn't help myself. I think everybody at that table, even the people that don't know me, even the empty seats call me a lot of times when I bet. Because I never have anything. They think I never have anything. Evan's under the gun here with a hand that probably will be folded because there won't be enough money in the pot at that point to make a call. Ruben with the ace-9 of hearts, though, going to look down at a suited ace. And short table, that's going to be a decent hand, so he's going to raise it to 15. Going to get a fold around the table here. Kid looking down at a 9-10. Kid playing a 9-10 suited here and short-handed. That's a little bit of a shock. Good job, Kid. And an ace-3-5 going to kill that hand for Kid in a hurry. Ruben going to stay aggressive with the pair of aces here. He's going to lead out for $30. Kid probably quickly going to go away here unless he really is on a bluffing mood, and I don't believe that's the case. And Jimmy Dang with a chance to catch a straight here possibly, maybe making the call. He is down, but he is not. He is going to fold. Ruben's going to pick up the $32 pot, or the $32 profit. No, after a few good hands, Dustin leading the way in chips, so good for him. Jimmy D with the queen 10 picking up top pair. Evan now in heads up action against him. Probably really would like to catch him and take a little bit of those chips back that he stole from him essentially, but he is going to make the fold. He knows chasing that money that's gone is not going to do him any good. Evan, a pretty level-headed player. You're not going to see him get tilted very often. Even if he is down just a little bit, typically you're not going to see him chasing the money. Kid with the jack 6 off going to make the quick fold here, but Dustin with a 10-6 suited going to make the call. Jimmy D with queen 5 and Lubbock Legend 9-7 going to make the call as well. Ruben going to go ahead and check his big blind, or call $3, and Chris going to check. So Jimmy D picking up a pair of 5s and Dustin with a pair of 6s. Ruben's card's unseen, so we don't know what he's playing right now. Ruben going to go away after the $10 bet, so we're 3-handed to the turn, a 2 on the turn. No help for anyone. Dustin's still going to be a little aggressive with the top pair, but Jimmy, with the second pair, always forever hanging on to the call. And Evan, of course, with the gutty and overcards. But a jack on the river ends the hopes for Evan. And Dustin, with all the calling, decides to just check. And Dustin does pick up the pot. $70 profit for him. He just continues to chip up. Ruben and Kid both having not gone to showdown at all so far this game. Of course, Kid hadn't been here very long, but not sure who our 10 o'clock dealer is going to be, but I would suspect that it's probably going to be John. Could be Chris. He could be playing before his shift. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Pocket jacks for Jimmy Dang and Lubbock Legend with ace king, so this could turn out to be a decent sized hand. Chris going to go away with his queen 9, and we're going to be heads up here. And it is an ace deuce deuce, so Evan picking up the top pair, Jimmy with pocket jacks. He's going to hold on to there. He's not going to go away right off. He wants to see if he can pick up a jack, and it is a deuce on the river. So this will make it pretty hard for Jimmy to go away, because at this point, I mean, it is check, but Evan probably needing to make a good bet here, and he does make a bet of about $100. Actually, it looks like a little bit more. He makes a $200 bet. So $200 to call here for Jimmy Dang. Evan hoping that Jimmy has a pocket pair and that he thinks that, hoping that Jimmy believes he's bluffing at the ace. $200 is a pretty good bet to make that happen too. He overbets the pot a bit. By overbetting the pot, though, that's where he hopes to draw Jimmy in with his pocket pair if he has one. It's a little bit of a different timing for Jimmy. If he's stacked up here, I think he snap calls. I don't think he thinks about it so hard. But at this point, he still has a decent amount of chips. It's a great bet from Evan. I think that's the only way he gets the value out of Jimmy. If he bets it any smaller, I think Jimmy snap folds. And Jimmy does go ahead and make the fold. Evan, of course, not showing the winning hand. Evan says Jimmy can find out later on the live stream. But then again, I've been told I'm wrong 90% of the time on here. So, hey, what do I know? Dustin with a 9-6 in the +1 position suited. Kid with a Queen-7 suited under the gun. He's going to make the fold for $5. Jimmy Dang with a Jack-10 offsuit making the call. Pocket 4s for Ruben, so he's going to make the call as well. Shane in the big blind just going to make the check. Just going to go ahead and check it here for the King-5. Deuce 3-8 on the flop. No help for anyone. So Ruben still leading the way. And a jack on the turn going to give Jimmy the lead. Pair of jacks, check and a check back. And you got a 9. So Jimmy does pick up the straight here. He's not going to get much value out of it. He is going to make a value bet of probably $75 or actually it looks like $35. Small enough bet to let Ruben think about it, but I don't think he's going to think real hard about it. He's been a pretty tight player so far. I think Ruben fold. He does fold before I can even finish it. And a good fold from Ruben there. He had no chance at that hand. Dustin still leading the way at $9.94 in chips, and Ruben bringing up the tail end with $140. Evan making a little bit of a comeback. He picked up a few chips off of Jimmy, but not a whole lot. Like I said, it's a slow, steady climb for Evan, which is why his name is Lubbock Grinder. Dustin now with the pocket 4s. See if those will do any better for him than they did for Ruben. Jimmy Dang with the Jack-7. Ruben with the 8-5 folding around. Chris making the fold as well. Shane with the 9-10 suited in the small blind folds. Wow. Shane, when you're watching this later, you might almost be as tight as Kid there. Dustin picking up a win with the pocket 4s. $12, but a win's a win. Better to win $12 than to lose 1. Ruben's card's not scanning, but they must be good enough for him to make a call to $10. I think we had a button straddle maybe. No, just a simple raise to $10 from Jimmy Dang. Of course, Jimmy's card's not even showing to be in the hand, so I'm not sure what he has, but there he goes. Jimmy with a Queen-10 offsuit and Dustin making the call for 5 more. It was a straddle from Jimmy, and he is going to raise it up for 20 more. Or 40 more, excuse me. 40 more around the table. Going to be 50 straight to everybody. And he's going to pick up those pick up those blinds. Yes, I know they're not really blinds. They're all calls, considering that we don't... No, they were blinds. Forgot we're not playing on the button. Those of you wanting to come check out a game, we do play on the button a lot as well. That's typically what gets played mostly in the cash games when we're not on the live stream. 5 to 15 on the button is a pretty popular game. And typically we play round of each. Round of PLO, round of Hold'em. But the game that starts starts based on what the players want. So if you come in at 1 o'clock when the doors open in the afternoon, they will start whatever game that the table agrees on. Kid with a king eight of diamonds actually making a call here. Evan raising it with a 9-8 suited, and Jimmy Dang making the call. So $47 pot here, and a 3-5-6, 2 diamonds. So that should keep Kid in for just a little bit. Evan with the gutty though. He's going to stay aggressive with it. He is the initial raiser, so he's going to stay aggressive with it, at least for the flop. Now, after this turn, and he does pick up the 8. He does pick up the 8. Oh, it's a pair of 8s. Pair of 8s for both players. Kid with a lot more. Sorry, I thought Evan had 9-7. Evan needing the 7, and at this point, a 7 of diamonds would be terrible for Evan. And the river is a 3 of clubs, so no help to Kid. He is the winning hand. And it does go check, check. And Kid going to pick it up with a bigger kicker. Evan dropping his head because he probably feels like he missed a bet there against Kid. He probably could have bet Kid off that hand. So we are, just FYI, we are preliminarily talking about a bigger tournament on a pretty large scale, especially for the Lubbock area. Would love to see it happen. For those of you that don't know, we did give away a Corvette a couple of years ago. $100,000 Corvette. Sean Rice ended up with that Corvette. If you don't know who Sean Rice is in the poker world, go look him up. If you're from Lubbock or even if you're not from Lubbock, Sean Rice is a pretty well-known poker player. Lubbock legend with the Jack 8 offsuit. And Shane Lowe with a Ace 10 offsuit. Shane picking up the straight draw now with a king on the turn. Evan still with a pair of jacks. No longer top pair, but he is going to hang on and call the $15 bet. This is an ace of diamonds now. So Shane with the aces does pick up the better hand, and it does go check, check. And Shane going to pick up that profit of $32 on the pot. Do want to remind everyone that we have our hours tournament being qualified for right now. You can still qualify for it. The first 20 players to 100 hours will be entered into a $6,500 free roll. It is a true free roll. There are no rebuys, and the only money paid is your club fee and a dealer appreciation at the beginning for additional chips. The first 20 players to 100 hours are going to play for that. So it'll be 20 players playing for $6,500 pot. If you get to 100 hours and you surpass 100 hours, for every hour you go over 100, you receive an extra 1,000 in starting chips until the 20th player makes 100 hours. With the deuce on the turn, Ruben is going to pick up trip deuces here. Pretty good hand. Chris with the pair of jacks, and Dustin also with a pair of jacks making a call. Jimmy with a 6-4 going to probably go away here. There's no real reason for him to make a call. He does make the fold. So we have trips versus, oh man. So we have a boat versus jack, 2 pair basically on 2 hands. Ruben here going to lead out. He's going to bet it out for $35. It looks, oh no, excuse me, $55. Chris going away with the better jack here. Dustin wanting to hang on, but he does not. He folds as well. Good fold by both players. Dustin picking up, Ruben picking up that pot. It's what happens when you get old and you have kids. You start calling everybody different names. I used to laugh at my parents for doing that. My mom would be Ricky, John, Charlie, John, Charlie. Now I do it with everybody. It's not even just my kids. Everybody I know. I call Evan Gus. I call John V Pip. I call V Pip, who is John. I call him Ben. Call Ben Bucky. I don't know who we just saw walking in there, but hopefully it'll be another player. Several hands here not scanning, so we're not sure what everybody's calling with. Hopefully those will be seen here pretty soon. Chris with a 9-7. Jimmy D with a king deuce. Kid looking to take a break already, and we got a king 4-3 on the flop, so Jimmy picks up top pair. We don't know if anybody else picks it up as well, but if you're in the chat, if you're in here on the live watching, please speak up in the chat. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. If you're a regular to the chat or a regular to the stream, just pop in and say hello. So with a river 9 here, Jimmy's still going to win with the pair of aces. He's going to win a $75 profit. Jimmy D looking down at a ace-queen offsuit here. Gayla now sitting down at the table. Haven't seen Gayla in a long time. Gayla has not been a part of the live stream, but we're glad to see her. I've known Gayla a long time. So wish her well in the live stream here. Ace, king, queen on the flop now. Jimmy picking up top pair, but now with Shane and Chris both picking up straight draws. We don't know what Dustin has in his hands, but Jimmy going to bet out for 15. Shane going to go away, and so is Kid. Dustin as well, and no one's going to take a chance on that one. Kid with a 26% VPIP. Kid coming in here proving everybody wrong. Rock coming in here saying, let's go stacks. I agree. Evan raising up to $25 with a queen jack here. And Kid going to look down. 10-7 suited. A lot of people would play a 10-7 suited. Kid not one of those people. Kid knows what he likes, and he is not going to be convinced to play any differently, and I don't blame him. It is your money. You win it how you want to. So Jimmy and Evan both picking up straight draws here. Jimmy with the wheel draw. But it's Evan who picks up the pair of queens first. So he does pick up a pair. And a 3 on the river going to give Jimmy a pair as well. Evan going to go ahead and check back to him. And Evan going to take the profit of $92 or $62 and run with it. Dustin still leading in the chip count while Ruben bringing up the tail at 182. Chris right in the middle at 562. Evan picking up a few hands here, going ahead and raising it up to 15 with a queen 10 suited. He's going to get a fold around to Chris, who makes the call with jack 9. And Shane only making the call here with big slick offsuit. Kid with a queen 9, he makes the call as well. So Jimmy now, the original better, the big blind, he's going to just make the call as well. And we're going to go 6 ways to a flop. Dustin with a 6-5 offsuit, Jimmy D with a 7-4 offsuit. So one man's 2 pair is another man's straight draw. And Kid picking up the flush right off the bat. He flops the flush. Jimmy with a pair of 7s. Dustin with the straight draw. Kid going to lead out here for 75. He's not going to take any chances. He's going to, $50 bet. But with Kid betting, you're going to get a lot of folds. Tells you a lot about Kid's play as well. Shane not even taking any chances with his top pair there. He just goes right on away. Gayla under the gun going to look down at a king 2. I would guess she's probably going to make a pretty quick fold there. Ruben's card's not exposed yet, so we don't know what he's got, but he does make the call here. He's actually going to raise it up to 15. So Ruben raising to 15 here. That's going to induce several folds. Shane with an 8-7 suited. Shane does have a decision to make. He has not made his decision, but he does call here. Kid with a 5 deuce of spades going away, and Dustin with a 5 deuce of diamonds going away. Jimmy D, don't be surprised if he 3-bets it here with a king jack offsuit. And of course, right now we still don't know what Evan has in the 5 seat there, or 6 seat, excuse me. Jimmy does not 3-bet it, and Evan just making the flat call as well. So 4 ways to a flop. It is a king 8-3, 2 diamonds on the board. So Shane picking up the pair, Jimmy picking up top pair. But we still don't know what Ruben and Evan have. And we're going to go to a turn. Checked all the way around to the turn with a 5 of clubs on the turn. Jimmy now with top pair going to bet it up. He's going to bet 65. And the 2 blind hands are gone and everybody's gone. So Jimmy going to show the king and take down the pot. Ruben with pocket jacks raising to 15. Dustin making the call with a 5-3 of hearts. Evan with pocket 5s. He'll make that call. You might even see a 3-bet out of him. Don't be surprised in this position, but he does only make the call. Gayla getting away from her 7-3 off. And Jimmy in with cards unforeseen. So 10-10-6 on the flop. Not a really great flop. Not for Ruben anyway. I mean, he does have the overpair, but Jimmy very well could have a 10 in his hand. Jimmy does make the call. Evan now with a decision to make. He knows that if he hits a 5, he's got a boat, and that could put him in a really good position, but he is going to let it go. Queen on the turn really hurts Ruben's hand here. It may not hurt his chances of win, but it makes a bluff a much bigger possibility to win. And it is a 4 on the river, so no help to either player that I know of. He does make a bet here. Ruben makes the bet with the pocket jacks. I believe it's his only chance to win this hand because Jimmy may take a move. He does fold, so Ruben going to pick up this pot of 265, and Jimmy with a little frustration on his face, but Kayla's seeing one of the first hands she's seen today with a king three of diamonds. Ruben also with diamonds as well. And there is, I've been told he likes to be called Dan. He was in the system as Dang, but now he likes to be called Dan. Jimmy Dang, though, with 9-6 of diamonds as well, and he gets folds out here. Gala behind right now for the flop. Pair of nines. Jimmy going to take some action here. He's going to bet out for $50, kind of see where he's at with Gala. I wouldn't be surprised if Gala goes ahead and gets away from this with all black cards on the board, but she does have her pair of threes, so she could be waiting to see if she catches a three or a king. She does make the fold, though. Lubbock Legend leading the way with 27% of pre-flop raises. He's raising pre-flop 27% of the time. No one yet with a flush, but Chris in a pretty good position with two pair, kings and twos, and he's got the king high flush draw. That is the king high, so he could fold to a bet if someone makes it real if another club hits the board, but as of right now, that's not going to be the case. Chris making the bet and does go ahead and pick up the pot. Jordan knows who that dealer is. That's Tanya. Hadn't seen you in a while, Jordan. Thanks for chatting it up in here. Thanks for watching the stream. We all know who Tanya is. Chris with a king queen, Shane low with a jack 10. Shane going away. 3-bet to 55 from Ruben with pocket jacks, though. So Dan going to make the call, and Evan going to make the call as well. So 3 ways to a flop. We don't know what Dan's hand is. Is it 8 king 5 on the flop? Ruben did all right with pocket jacks last time he had them. So Dan picking up the pot, though. Betting it up, getting jacks off the hand. If you're in here watching, guys, make sure you go smash that like button. We'd also appreciate it if you'd share the link on all of your social media. Help us get this content out there. The better the content, the bigger the following, and the better the tournaments that we're going to end up having. And a queen 5-7 on the flop here. 2 hearts. Got to be a massive flop. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. We don't know because we can't see any cards. Ace of clubs on the turn. Going to be check. And Chris says, no more checks. No checks here. I bet it all. Oh, well, he didn't bet it all. He bet 35. Kid trying to get his cards to scan here, and we appreciate that, but nothing happening here. And a fold from Kid. He shows 2 cards. I don't know what he showed. Showed a 9. That's all I saw. Well, any of you anybody watching that's baseball fans, the Rangers, if you're a Rangers fan, they really kicking it in today. For all the offense they've been missing the last few days, they're putting it all on them now. It's 10-0 in the top of the 9th. The Rangers just moving right along in that game. That game started at 7 o'clock, so we're 2.5 hours into that game, and they're already in the top of the 9th. Dane Dunning going for the complete game here. 2 outs. Dane Dunning with a 2-hitter so far, and he's got 2 strikes and 2 outs in the top of the 9th. So Shane with the ace-jack offsuit going to raise it up. Ibanez reaching with an infield single. So it's going to be a 3-hitter. Jimmy Dane making the call with a queen 6 here. So heads up action going to the flop. And a king, jack, deuce. So Shane with second pair here. Jimmy with nothing. It is going to be a check from Jimmy. Shane probably going to check back, and he does. Check here, and Shane going to make a bet. He's going to lead out for $20. Dustin's still leading the way in chips at $8.99. Lubbock Legend, though, climbing up the leaderboard at $7.79. Kid right behind him with $6.60 and some change. Dustin with pocket eights now. Jimmy D raising to 45 with pocket deuces. And Kid with a 7-4 diamonds. So, yeah, it's with the way this is going, that's a really good place to make the call. But Dustin going to make the call with pocket eights. So, and a Jack 6 on the flop. Jimmy with $75 bet here. I don't think that's gonna push Dustin off. I can't, and he does, but he does go away. He does go away. Oh, Jimmy, show the pocket deuces, please, one time. Please show the deuces one time, Jimmy. The Rangers lose the shutout. A 2-run shot from Carpenter is going to give Detroit a little bit of life with 2 outs. Can they score 8 more to tie the game? I don't think so. I do not think so. All right, guys, I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. I'll be right back. I'll see if we can't turn on the table noise, see if we can keep that feedback from happening, but
Chain check. Dustin check. Jimmy check. Dan check. That makes it 45. Dan check. Moving forward. Chain check. Call from Dustin. 45. Jimmy calls, Dan folds. 3 players. 7. 7. 7 checks. 75 from Dustin.
Going home, okay?
You have a nickel bank.
Going home, okay?
Race. Jimmy makes it 275. Evan folds.
And here you go.
How you doing? I'm good. Always. Jimmy,
How are you, man?
Good.
Young man.
One round.
One roller. That's the good one.
The lucky one.
Yeah. I'm gonna call.
What you got?
I think probably
Pair jacks.
Academy or something.
Oh, man, I talked to Jack Love. Yeah. I talked to Jack Love at Carl Ray. Yeah. Man, I didn't see that. I said Jack Love. Yeah.
Thank you.
That way I talked to Love.
That was a good call.
I didn't see very well. Well, I have to look at it. Yeah, I did I got the love.
I did that one time. I put my hand over my head. I got the milk.
Yeah, that
I slammed my
one
hand down
happened,
face
yeah.
up, and they were like, "Where's your flush?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I
And tomorrow I
misread."
see that I did go to
Lost
see
like
my eye
$300
doctor, you know.
One day I was
5 o'clock.
I wear my eye ready.
There's 3 hearts in the board.
One fold.
There's 3 hearts in the board. I thought I had an 8 of hearts.
Yeah.
I had like an 8 of
Chain
diamonds
fold.
and an 8 of hearts. I can't believe it.
I'm just fold.
Talking to myself.
Dustin folds. Jimmy calls.
No, I
Dan
Ever
folds.
since I did that day, misread it, and was playing like enough flips, I was double checking my hand before I did it.
Evan folds.
Just to make sure that nobody
Game of calls and option checks. 3 players.
I just went through and if you look at it next week,
Pair. Checks. Evan checks. Jimmy checks.
especially like wanting your hand to be serious,
Okay.
it's not, it's the same card. Your hand might play you serious.
Game
real
checks.
quick.
Ruben makes it $5. Jimmy folds. And Gayla folds.
It's a tough call, though.
I haven't met you, but I'm Gayla. I can hear her saying Dustin, but yeah.
Dustin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
He's a pro.
No.
He's gonna play in the World Series of Poker.
Jimmy's Travis.
Dustin, traveling pro.
He's the next up and coming from Tom Gorn.
All right, Dan Pendleton. We have Chris
For
Fold,
like your first
Shane
WSOP
Fold,
and final tables or winning, that'd be so sick. But
Kid Fold, Dustin Fold, option check. Oh, heads up. Jimmy, check. Caleb at 15. Jimmy folds. Thank you. 5-2, Shane. Jimmy straddles. Time to go, Dan. Dan folds. Keep him in line. Evan makes it 25, Taylor folds. Ruben folds. Chris calls. Shane folds.
All right, I'm back, everybody. Let's see what we're walking into here. Chris with the 8-7 suited. He's making the call to $25. Evan getting a little bit frisky with a 6-5 suited and he raising.
Chris check. Jimmy check.
Evan flopping second pair here. Chris with the straight draw.
65 from Evan.
And Evan, of course, picking up the flush draw as well.
Jimmy's all in for 95.
Evan leads out for 65. Good bet. Picking up that money. Raised all into 100 from Jimmy and the club flush for Evan. So Evan's going to get Jimmy back for what he got him for earlier with that 6. Dustin now taking a bigger lead at 1,300 in chips. Dan with 767.
Button straddle. I did because that here. How much you have, Jimmy?
And Jimmy with the reload.
10 seconds. This is straddle down. Shane calls 10. Kid folds.
Good take fold.
Dustin calls. Jimmy folds. Dan calls. Evan calls. Taylor calls.
Sure that the phase is good here. You guys are eating and you get the
Chris checks. 5 ways.
5 ways to a flop here. Shane with a jack 10. Dan leading the way with ace 7.
Dustin checks. Shane checks.
7 with 2 face cards. Looks like 7 king queen on the flop. Maybe 7 king jack.
Evan bet 20.
It is 7 king jack on the flop.
Shane folds.
So Shane now picking up a pair of jacks while Dan picks up the pair of 7s. Dustin with a 10-9 gonna make the call as well. He needs the 8 for the straight, and he does hit it. So peels the 8 right off on the turn, giving Dustin the straight.
Shane checks.
6 of clubs, however, on the river, gonna probably slow things down just a little bit. Dustin gonna go ahead and make a bet. See if Dan decides to make a move, and he does not. Dan will look down at a queen 2 suited. It folds all the way around the table to Chris, who raises to $20 with a ace 10. Dustin with big slick offsuit gonna just make the call. He's gonna flat it here. So we're gonna go 4 ways to a flop. It is a king, queen, deuce, 2 clubs, so no flush possibilities yet. Dustin with top pair, and he's got the ace blocker though. So 7 on the turn, gonna give Jimmy the pair of 7s. King still leading the way here though. Dan with a pair, or excuse me, I'm sorry, Dan with queens and 2s. So it is 3 clubs now, so Dustin does have the flush draw as well. He bets 35, and he's going to get called by Dan. Chris going to possibly make the call. He goes away. So it is a 5 of clubs now, so that's 4 clubs on the board, giving Dustin the win. He does have the nut flush. Dustin now going to see what he does. He's actually going to bet it up here. I think I check right there, but I don't know. And Dan does go away. Pretty easy fold in my opinion. Gayla hadn't had much to play so far. Jimmy Dang gonna raise it up. 3-bet it here to $50 with a king queen suited. Chris with an ace deuce of spades gonna make the call. King 4 deuce. Jimmy with top pair. Chris gonna check it back. And the king on the river here going to give Chris probably.
That's definitely good.
Evan with the primo 7-5 suited going to make the raise. He's going to get called around the table here as Gayla has pocket 3s and Ruben with a queen 10 suited. Dustin with a queen 8 suited as well. So Dan making the call with an ace 8.
Evan calls, Jayla folds. 4 players.
The 7 on the turn, giving Evan the 2 pair. This man has a knack for finding the hands and the timing. Dan with the ace-8, he's hanging around. Ruben now with queen 10, gonna bet strong here. Let's see what Evan decides to do though, because Ruben not been a super loose player, so Evan could put him on the straight or a bigger 2 pair. Or he does make the call though. He does make the call with the all-in. Oh, and a 7 on the river, giving Evan the boat. He was already ahead, but he wins the hand commandingly with a boat. Ruben looking down at pocket tens now, raising up to 20. You get folded all the way around to Jimmy D. Looks down at a jack 6, but you never know. You can't just assume a fold from Jimmy, ever. Evan with the ace 6. He does make the call from the straddle. Or the big blind, I'm sorry. Evan does flop the ace. It's going to be check, check. Now the king on the turn really going to slow some action down, probably. 5 of clubs on the river. So Dustin's still leading the way, climbing away in chips at 1,400 with Lubbock Legend behind him at 945. Significant drop to third place there with Dan at 630.
You see me?
I didn't. I wish I did though. I don't know. 25. Evan calls. Jayla calls. Button. Ruben. Evan calls. Jayla calls. Ruben with 35 and 50. Shane calls. He's gonna take a look. 35. He calls. Dustin calls. Jimmy calls. Dan looks at 100. Jayla calls. Ruben's all in. 185. And a call. Ruben. 211.
You can do it, man.
Ruben all in for 165. Looks like Dan has pocket aces and against ace jack. So Dan gonna pick up the win there, and Ruben gonna be felted again here.
Thank you. Want me to go 3 or 5? Dan wanted to.
Good.
This would be fine.
Please, if you're in here watching, go hit that like button. Helps spread the content. We do appreciate those that loyally watch. We appreciate all those that tune in and watch as well, but we really appreciate those that loyally watch every stream. Jimmy D with pocket queens and Dan with pocket fives, so we could have a very big hand here. Lubbock legend, Evan not at the table, so I think that he might have made a call with that hand though. Gayla with an ace-jack suited in there as well. Ace 3-9 now, so Gayla now with top pair. She's going to be aggressive with it. She's going to go ahead and lead out for $50, or $30, excuse me. Folds around the table. Jimmy Dan going to make the call, and Dan going to fold. So Gayla and Jimmy now. A jack on the turn. So now Gayla with top two pair here, not going to go anywhere. The bet of $50 now for Jimmy. We'll see what he decides to do here. Have seen him get aggressive in positions like this as well. Raising. So don't be surprised. I think he's going to think better of it and make a fold here, though. He does make the fold. Gayla's going to take down that pot. Nice hand, Gayla.
How big kicker? Ma'am,
I'm sorry?
how big your kicker?
I had way more than just the kicker.
I got ace 10. Shoot it.
You had ace jack?
8-10.
Oh,
Ace jack, I raise you.
yeah, I had you beat all the way.
Yeah, ace jack, I raise you.
Thank you. John, are you in this hand, or you want me to just deal around you for the next half hour or so? Yeah, he's in. And the button shot.
Get the dog out of it.
Heads up. All right.
Jimmy with Jack 7 and Chris with King Jack here, so Chris sitting in a pretty good position. Now a 7 is no help to Jimmy at all. 2 of spades going to give Chris the win here. Jimmy could get crazy and raise it up. He does raise to 125. Chris making the call and Chris picking up the win. Jimmy probably looking down thinking, how did he make the call? How did he call my raise? Just one of those things, I guess. Just one of those things. Ace King suited for Dang, and Jimmy Dang picking up the pocket queens again. He didn't do so well with them last time, but let's see what he does with them this time. He does raise it up and gets a call from Dang. Ace King on the flop though. King 10 on the flop. Dang getting the kings, making the $50 bet and a call. The turn is a 6. Jimmy needing a jack for the straight or a queen for the trips. Jimmy betting 50 again. This time Dang's going to raise it up for him. He's going to make it a little bit hefty price for him to decide whether he's going to call here. Jimmy making the call for 125. He needs a jack or a queen on the river here to stay alive. And it's a 10 on the river. So Dan now picking up the win. The only way Jimmy can win is if he can bluff him off of it, and I just don't see that happening at this point. Dan bets a 50, and Jimmy makes the call, and that's the elimination right there. So Jimmy now taking another hit. We'll see if he wants to reload one more time. He does leave chips on the table, so it does look like he's about to reload one at a time.
Charlie just wanted his 2 seconds on film.
Yeah.
Wave to the cameras. That's the goof who does the commentating.
Are my hands scanning? Huh? Are my hands scanning? Mostly.
Gala with ace queen off now.
Earlier time was like, can everybody rescan their hands? Make sure you go watch. Make sure you go watch the live stream.
Don't know who that handsome guy walking into the room is, but he is handsome and plump.
I set it up for the first 5 minutes, too. Set it up.
Did you give a shout out to AJ? AJ, I know you're watching from Vegas. We miss our #1 player of West Texas. Please come on.
So that's the Hold'em Master.
Overlord. If you give him beer, that's just gamer fuel.
That's superpowers.
Popeye's spinach. Come on. Oh, you guys are ready. I'm both to do that too. How they do it.
I love drum games with her.
And Gala called 30.
I just don't want to be the one guy.
So ace queen versus ace 9 here. 3 spades on the board. It's a fourth, and it is a 4th spade on the river. So Kid with the 9 of spades could think that he's walked into a win here, but Gala going to continue to be aggressive, and I'd be surprised if Kid does anything other than fold. He might make the call here, but more than likely, I think he makes a fold. The way Gala's been betting, though, he could put her on a pair of kings and no spade. We'll see.
Yeah, that case got destroyed. I know. I know, right?
Kid thinking really hard over this 9-high flush here. He really putting a lot of thought into it, trying to decide whether that's his hand or not. The more he thinks about it, though, the harder it is to get Gala to fold anything if he decided to bluff, but he does not. He lays the hand down. Let's see if Gala shows anything. She does not. She's not going to give him the satisfaction of knowing whether he made a right call or not. Or a right fold, I should say. But I'm sure he'll see this later and realize he did make the right fold. Good fold, Kevin. Johnny Boy now. V-Pip changing his name to Johnny Boy. Trying to throw some people off, but we all know who you are, sir. You are V-Pip. You are the third tightest player at the table, maybe. AJ, I know you're watching from Vegas, buddy. We missed the best poker player in Lubbock. You need to get back here sometime soon. Queen 10-5, so Dan's card's not showing up, but Evan with the pair of fives. Dustin leading the way in the chip count. Shane now taking some hits. He's all the way down to 273 and in last place in chips. Dustin with an 8-9 suited here. And Johnny Boy raising it to 25 with a 7-6 suited. So we see Johnny Boy trying to get a little frisky up here in the very beginning. Dustin goes away with his hand, but Dan making the call with a Queen 3.
25 more minutes.
Jack 7 on the flop. 2 hearts. That's going to make Dustin a little bit frustrated because he flops a straight flush draw. If that 10 of hearts hits, he's going to be sick. It is a 9 of diamonds, so it was no real help for him. He still had the straight draw, but he did turn a pair of 9s, which would have been leading at this point. And a 4 of diamonds on the river, so no help to anybody. Dustin's card, so Dustin is still in this hand, but he does go away. So Oh no, Dustin makes the call there. Bet, and he wins the pot. He gets
Yeah,
folded
it's
to.
called bluffing here.
My
That's
bad.
why
I'll
you
stutter
never
through
know.
this here in just a second.
I'm telling a good story, guys.
Right.
It's not the right one, but it's
Well, it's not always the right one for sure, but sometimes you just gotta go with your story.
And the story of the small blind and first crowd.
I'll just tell you the truth, I didn't have nothing till the river, cause I had ace queen and the queen was a spade, other than that, I didn't have ace.
I didn't have nothing.
Here's the call. Give a call, blind call. First call. King call.
Chris with a king jack here making the call after the straddle of $10.
King fold. King fold.
No real hands coming around. Johnny Boyd made the call for $5 with a 6-5. Gayla with pocket fours going to make the call as well. So four-handed to a flop. Evan flopping top pair and a straight draw. Johnny Boy, however, flopping sixes with a straight draw, but a smaller straight draw. And of course, Gayla with the pocket fours.
Give a call. Johnny first call. Okay.
Ace on the turn here should slow things down just a little bit. Gayla with the check. Evan probably with a check back, but he's going to bet it just to see where he's at.
35.
He does make the bet of $35. Gayla going to go away.
I'm not buying it.
Hello. Tanya stepping into the booth after a successful
You want that one?
day of dealing. Say hi to the many fans out there, Tanya.
King call. Dan fold. Evan makes it 20. Gayla folds. John folds. Chris calls. And Jimmy calls. 3 players. Check, check to Evan. Check. Chris. And checks. Jimmy checks. Evan checks. 25 from Chris. Fold from Jimmy. And Evan folds. Aces. Thank you. Button straddle. 10 to call. Chris folds. Shane folds. Peter folds. Dustin calls. Jimmy folds. Dan makes it 50. Evan folds. Gayla folds. John folds. Dustin folds. Thank
You
you.
know what?
Button straddle.
Oh, you were trying to get
this
a.
is a stickier holding game. It'll be sticky. I think the most amount.
Kid with a massive 5 deuce. We know that that's probably going to be a raising hand for Kid.
King card.
Well, hold on, what was your raise?
I joke. I kid. Dustin, though, with Queen Jack suited, going to be the raiser. He's going to raise it up to $20. Not going to get a call yet around the table. Evan, likely to call with a 10-8 suited. He likes to play those cards. Actually, he 3-bets it. He actually 3-bets it to $80 here, which is not, or $90, excuse me. 3-bet to $90. Chris with a King Jack off going to fold. Shane going to fold as well, so it's up to Dustin now. And Dustin with a pretty big chip stack is going to decide to go ahead and take it. Take a chance, that is. Make a call. So we're heads up to a flop. See what happens here. Ace, deuce, 7, 2 spades on the board. Evan probably not going to go too long without making a move here. Now, Dustin does pick up the pair of queens, and he actually is going to win this hand if he does not decide to fold it for any reason. $75 bet to Evan here. The only way he continues on here is if he plans to bluff, and he does not plan to bluff. Of course, I do not blame him either. Dustin's been steadily climbing the ladder with the chips, and he has usually played pretty solid hands most of the way, so Evan not wanting to try to bluff him out of anything at this point. So $280 pot going to Dustin. About $115 in profit's going to bring his chip stack up to about 1,600 or so now. He is sitting up top with 1,600 in chips. Evan, who he just took a few off of, sitting right in the middle with $846. As Evan looks down in the +1 or +2 position with a King Jack suited. Gayla with a 7-6 off, likely going to go away here. Going to get folded around the table. Kid going to fold. And Dustin with an ace queen. So here we go. Evan and Dustin again heads up. These two likely going to see some hands together. Evan chuckling because he knows again. So Dustin now flopping the top pair with aces. Evan going to c-bet though because he was the pre-flop raiser, and Dustin going to make the call. So Evan in danger of losing some more chips here. He does. It is an ace turn, a turn, and it's going to get check with a deuce of spades on the river, so bringing in this flush draw. Evan, I can't believe he could make a stab at this if Dustin does not, but Dustin's going to lead out here. So what does Evan do? Does he try to make a bluff here with 2 aces on the board? This is one of those positions where when that second ace hits the board, you kind of think that it's unlikely that they have one in their hand, so you kind of want to bluff at this, but a bluff really is going to do him no good. And Evan's smart enough to sniff that out, and he does as he lays down the King Jack. Not really a hard fold, but again, depending on the player, you could stand to make a bluff there. But Dustin has just been too consistent. And consistency is the game, and that's taking him to 1,600 in chips.
Makes it 20. Jimmy calls. Dan calls. Chris calls. And Chris calls.
So Dustin raising to $20 here with a King Queen offsuit. It's going to be 5 ways to a flop. Chris showing up with a 9-10 offsuit. Ace deuce 4 on the flop. So Jimmy flopping 2 pair here. And we'll see him get probably pretty aggressive with this, and he'll stay that way all the way to the end. Dan's cards, of course, not scanning. His has been typically not doing that. He doesn't put them up there very long. So $70 bet from Jimmy. Going to get folded around too. Probably not going to see any callers here. Dustin may call, but probably not. Jimmy with the aggressive $70 bet with 2 pairs going to pick up the pot that's already there and about an $80 profit. And he's going to tell them all about it afterwards as well. Pre-flop raising. Gayla has not pre-flop raised at all, which actually puts her below Kid, shockingly. We have not seen much straddling in this game at all tonight, as opposed to Monday night where half the table consistently straddled all night long. Not very many good cards to go on this table so far, so maybe on the other end we'll get some. We do not. Kid making the call with a Jack-9. Dan with a King-Jack offsuit going to raise it up to 20. So both players making the call, and we're going to go 3 ways to a flop. Dustin with a 7-5 suited. Not playing many of those hands like that, but he does pick and choose where he does, and gives him opportunities to bluff at hands like that when those flops come out and no one takes charge. Ace of Hearts, no help for anybody else but Dustin. He does turn the flush draw, so he'll probably be making a call of any bet here. It is a $30 bet, just as I thought. Dustin making the call, so we're heads up to the river now. Dustin with a ton of outs, and he does hit one of them, so he hits his flush, and it does give Broadway to Dan, so this could be a really testy river bet here. Dan first to act. He's going to make the check, so Dustin definitely going to bet for value. $75, a good value bet here because the straight does hit. Dan with the chip stack probably makes this call to see if his straight's any good. I'd be shocked if he raises, but he does just make the call, and he is going to see the bad news and lose to the flush. The best river card Dustin probably could have hoped for. Any other heart, and Dan goes away. I don't even think he calls if it's a king or a jack of hearts. So Dustin picking up an additional $75 on the river with that great value bet. Dustin still leading the chips, 1,800. Kid right there in the middle at 513. One thing I don't miss while I'm sitting back here is sitting at the table and listening to every player, including myself if I was out there, explaining why they did what they did with every single hand. I'd be shocked if Tanya's ears aren't bleeding by the end of the night. Chris with the ace-queen offsuit, though, going to raise it up here. $50? $50 raise. Jimmy with a queen 3. He is the straddler on the button. Wouldn't be surprised if he called, because he calls just about anything at any time. But he does make the fold. He usually likes to protect his button straddle. And Evan going to get out of the way. He knows that Chris doesn't raise very often with very much, so he knows his ace-7's probably far behind, and it was. So Tanya's better half picking up the better cards in that hand. Kinsey will be stepping into the box here in just a little bit. She'll be the 10 o'clock dealer. Not sure what Evan's hand is, but whatever it is, he decided it was worth a raise. So it must have been a button straddle, I'm assuming. So Evan raising it up to $30. There was a button straddle from Dan, so Dan going to be making the call here, and it looks like that's going to be heads up between those two. No, Johnny Boy did make the call as well. So ace and looks like a 4 on the flop. So it looks like Johnny Boy might have picked up 2 pair here, but we're not certain. That's a 7. That's the problem with just seeing the bottom 2. He does pick up top pair with the flush draw. And when a man like Johnny Boy bets You know he's got something. That's why he changed his name to Johnny Boy. He doesn't want us to realize it's really VPIP. Because he doesn't play many hands, and when he does, you know he's betting on something. Dan with 952 in chips, and Jimmy D down there at 438, having a rough night. Jimmy not winning like he normally does, or is that getting lucky with the cards like he normally does, or both?
Send the call, Gary. Taylor folds. John folds. Chris folds. Shane and Kid folds. Dustin folds. Jimmy folds. Dan calls. Option. Option checks. Three players. Chris checks. Dan checks. Seven checks. David Cruz checking in. Check from Chris and Dan. 15 from Evan. Chris folds.
Look at my book.
Dan
That
folds.
Big size. Big size.
was weak sauce. You're right.
Thank you.
Play for a raise. I wasn't one from the.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I had the feeling. I had a feeling.
Yeah, I said, I'm gonna need it, yeah, I was jumping on it.
I'm pretty sure you have big
Oh, I think it's shuffled. It don't matter.
He's thinking about making it a quarter more. And I was like, where did he cross that?
That's all.
One, two. All right.
Five to call, Shane.
He can see a flop if he wants to. If we can.
Shane folds. Kid folds. Dustin calls. Jimmy calls. Dan calls.
The monkeys. His VPIP's been 90%.
20 for
God,
Evan.
yeah.
20. Taylor folds. John folds. Chris. 20. Folds.
You get an amazing price. Only 3 callers.
Dustin calls. Jimmy calls.
Yeah, the problem is I couldn't think of a flop I wanted to see.
4 players.
I had one time. Well, I mean, other than flop and quads with garbage hands.
Checks. Jimmy
Other
checks.
than that, I can't think of a flop I
Dan
wanted.
55 from Evan. I think I can take this one, man. Fold from Dustin. Jimmy calls. Dan folds.
Boom.
That's right.
Pink.
Jimmy checks. And Evan checks. Jimmy checks. And Evan checks. Let's see. Fours. Weak sauce.
I miss everything too. You want to fucking
Thank you.
everything.
You ready?
Even says that
Alright,
they're
y'all
like,
have to
you
be
get called
coming in.
15
Thank
free
y'all. Have a
cards
good
and try and
night.
hit your drop.
Kenzie, do you want me to get you 15 and white, or are you good? I'm gonna come this way. Thank you.
Zero of this one too.
Thanks.
Let me see if I can get in there. Because you got this thing on for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't do that. I am. Now I am. Hello. I got a $10 straddle on John.
Johnny, take care for you, huh? It's been cheap.
All right by the mic, sounding old.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shit.
Yeah, John knows he's getting a box for playing these straddles. What an ass.
And Jimmy, fold from there. Evan makes a fold. Fold. Fold.
You're so enthusiastic to straddle. Why leave now?
Worked out earlier today.
My arch nemesis.
14-5 now.
I'm folding.
I need it. I'm
Heads up,
stuck.
perfect.
All right, so heads up action with Dustin and Evan with a king queen versus queen jack. Now Evan picking up the flush draw, so anything other than just a flat king or a queen that's not a diamond is really going to hurt Dustin. So Evan with the ton outs bets it, and Dustin going to go right on away. He's not even going to stick around to see if one of his overs hit. So seeing less of the usual suspects at the top of the list tonight. Dustin up there with a pretty good sized chip stack. Evan, of course, always in the middle of the pack or at the top. But Jimmy having a rough go of it tonight, that's for sure. We've already seen Ruben make an exit. I think. Yes, Johnny Boy in his place. Gayla folding the ace deuce here. A raise to 15 from Dustin. Of course, we don't get to see his cards, but Chris with a 10-6 suited. Johnny Boy making the 3-bet with the ace-4 spades, not knowing that 4 of the spades are already out. And Dang probably, well, Dang making the fold as well. So John going to pick up that pot with just a bit of a raise. A 3-bet will do that for you if the cards on the table aren't that great. Gayla finally picking up another decent hand with pocket tens, being raised by Evan though with king jack. So we'll see how that comes around the table. Of course, Gayla going to make the call. She's not going to make a 3-bet there. Jimmy D with pocket sixes. He's definitely going to be in it. And Kid with an ace jack, about the bottom of his range. Ace jack suited, especially to call a raise pre-flop. So Dustin with pocket sixes as well. So Jimmy D and Dustin both not really going to better their hands at all. Pocket 10 still leading the way, and Gayla going to take a stab at it with $80. An $80 bet from Gayla. That should get some folds around the table. Kid not flopping anything. He's definitely going to go away there. Dustin and Jimmy probably both going away. I know Dustin will, but Jimmy's kind of a hard case at times. He very well might make this call. With Evan behind him, though, he is going to make the fold. Evan with a king jack. Let's see what he decides to do. He decides to go away as well. He's not going to donate any more to the cause. And so Gayla going to pick up a $125 profit. That'll move her up the list a little bit here. I know y'all saw it just a second ago, but Kid, of course, at the bottom with the V-pip. He got up to like 24% there for a few minutes. He's down to 18%. Johnny Boy at 21%, right around where I'd expect to see those two. Jimmy D leading the way at 56% V-pip.
Still 40.
Kinsey donning the headset now. Had it set up. Tanya's just that good. She didn't even have to wear the headset while she was in the box. I don't know where that ace king went, but that ace king is now gone. Must have been in a hand that gets folded, maybe? I don't know. Shane had gone as well. These guys missing all their big cards. You're letting Kid win over here with 9 5s and stuff. Jimmy D with a king 7 suited, though. He ain't gonna let that go. We're gonna go 3 ways to a flop. It's a 10-7-3. So Dan and Jimmy Dang both flopping pair of 7s, but Gayla with top pair. She does hit the back. She does have the backdoor straight draw as well. No longer is Dan hits the 5 and gonna give him 2 pair. Jimmy gonna bet into it for him. Jimmy just betting it up for Dan. Dan says, "Thank you very much. I'll raise it up a little bit." He does raise it up to what looks like about $40. Maybe that's 60. Gayla with top pair is going to make the call here. She's pretty far behind. And we're going to be heads up to a river. Gayla needing a 10 or a 9 for the win here. And she does catch a 10. So trip 10's on the river. Dan knows that he's probably walked into trips, and Gayla not going to pass up the chance to bet it up. She does bet it up for what looks to be about $100. And Dan knows that he's probably just walked into trips. Tell y'all I appreciate y'all coming in and watching. If you're in here watching, make sure you smash that like button. Say hello in the chat and go share the link on all the social media that you have. Help us get that content out there. Saturday, July 8th, we have our $10,000 guarantee. It's $150 buy-in. That guarantee always exceeds the pot always exceeds the guarantee. We usually have always around 12, anywhere from 12 to 15,000 in that pot. It's a 2 p.m. cards in the air, Saturday, July 8th. We typically have this tournament bi-weekly. So, but with all the holidays, Father's Day and then the 4th of July weekend coming up, this one's been postponed just a little bit. And then we have our weekly tournaments, our Tuesday $3,000 guarantee and our Thursday $100 bounty tournament. Gayla going to look down at pocket kings this time under the gun, and let's see what she decides to do. With so few people at the actual table, although there's a lot of cards out, she's probably going to make a raise here. She does raise it up. Johnny Boy coming in just in time to fold. Surprise, surprise. Shane. Oh, Shane. Kid, you could have slow played that and let him get to his cards. How rude. Dustin with a queen jack, though, going to make the call. And Jimmy Dang with a 9-6 as well. So 3 ways to a flop. It is a deuce 7-5, 2 clubs. And Gayla going to continue to bet up here. She's going to see bet for, looks to be $80. $80 bet from Gayla, and that's going to induce a fold from Dustin. Jimmy with the straight draw, probably not going to fold. He is definitely a man of calls. He does make the call for 80. So Gayla does not want to see one of 4 outs come for him. Heads up to the turn, and it is a 5. Jimmy now in a position he could make a bluff here, but I don't think that he has the chip stack to really push her off. I mean, he does have 400, but I just don't think Gayla goes away no matter what he does. She does make a bet of $80 again. Jimmy, of course, likes to pick these spots where he shoves, and he is going to shove here. With a gut shot straight, he does shove. He likes to pick these spots where he's on a draw, but a card hits on the board to bring in a weird possible hand. So Gayla here being put to a decision for her chips, actually for most of her chips. Don't fold, Gayla. Know your opponent. Know your opponent. And she does make the call. So Jimmy needing 1 of 4 outs on the river, and it's not going to happen. He does catch 2 pair, but it's the board 2 pair, and Gayla going to take Jimmy's stack one last time. So Jimmy now, after a rough night, looks like he could possibly be done for the night. We'll see about that. Gayla moving up the board now. She's in second place in chips at 1,100. Chris, though, in third as well, right behind her with 1,000.
I'm sorry, what are you saying, Jimmy?
I said, what time
Oh, when the live stream
I
ends.
do believe Jimmy's probably explaining how he does not understand how he's not winning tonight. He does throw his last dollar chip away, and it looks like he probably will be done for the night, or at least for a little while. So the button now passes to Dan. He's going to straddle. So there'll be a button straddle for 10. The first to act will be Evan, the small blind.
Yes, sir.
Gayla with a 6-4 off. So after Evan makes his decision with a 10-3, Gayla makes the fold as well. Johnny Boy going to make a fold before we even get to see the cards. Chris, however, raising it up to $40 with a king-queen off. That's going to get a fold from Shane and probably from Kid, and he does fold. Dustin with a 6-3. 6-3 of hearts. Oh, 6-5 of hearts. Sorry, I'm getting scolded here. No. Blurry screen and my old blurry eyes make for a bad combination. Oh, and 2 hearts. Dan on the river flopping the straight flush draw. Dustin, though, way behind on the flush front anyway. Chris picking up top pair and the straight draw as well.
And blocker for that straight flush.
He does have a blocker for the straight flush. The 8 of hearts, however. Running hearts with the 8 of hearts would be very gross. Especially if it was the ace of hearts. Ace 8 of hearts would be very gross here, because I do believe you'd see an all-in and a call, and you could see well, you wouldn't see a 3-way. At least not on this poker channel. A raise to 175 from Dang, and going to be the call now. It is a straight, so it does give Dang the straight. He does pick up the straight, so now Chris is behind. Chris now, the only way Chris can come back is always with a jack. So he needs a jack to hit, but he cannot hit his flush. So very low percentage here. Dan's going to make the bet. Looks like around 260. It is a bet of 260. With a 4-card straight on the board, Chris typically not going to make this call here. Although he does like to prove me wrong on a regular basis. Usually it's when I'm sitting at the table. 7 on the river. No help for Chris. So Chris, at this point, either believes he's ahead in this hand or, and he's not, I don't know that he's going to be able to fold for this much. At $1,300 in the pot, it's a $200 bet. But it also is a major portion of Chris's stack, so I'm not going to venture to guess here because Chris is probably listening in and deciding he's going to prove me wrong. Shadow, definitely come on in. Get yourself a lifetime membership. We've got live streams 4 times a week, We got tournaments Tuesday, Thursdays, and then every other Saturday. So we'd love to have you come on in and sign up. Doors open at 1 p.m. every day. Afternoon cash games start around 1:30 or so. And those last until they don't. In fact, our live stream games, after the live stream ends, those games have been last until around 6 or 7 in the morning. So if you like action, come on down to Stacks. We're at 5004 Frankfort Avenue. If you're new to the area, I probably won't do any good to try to give you directions, but good thing you have maps on your phone. We also have games going right now, so if you feel like getting out, listen to the live stream while you drive. Don't watch it, just listen to it. Chris does make the call, and that's bad news for Chris. So Dan now moving up into the chip lead, or real close to it. He does move into the chip lead by about $100 over Dustin. And Chris left with a short stack and a lot of frustration. Shadow, you're welcome. Hope to see you in here soon. So Shane switching seats here. Guess he doesn't believe in the luck of the seat, that's for sure. Because that seat was not lucky, or the player was not lucky. I'll venture to guess which one it was. Johnny Boy looking down at Queen 10 offsuit. Gayla in the small blind with a Queen 8 offsuit. Evan with the button straddle. When he get calls around the table, Dustin going to make the call as well with a King 3 of diamonds, and Dan going to fold. So Evan with the option. He's going to check his option. And we're 5 ways to a flop. Chris not going to show us his hand. Dustin flopping top pair along with Evan with his King 7. Gayla flopping middle pair with an 8, and we still don't know what Chris has. The man gets stingy after he loses a hand. He don't want anybody to see his hand, not even me. Fold from Johnny Boy. We had a bet of $20 from Evan. Gayla and Dustin, of course, making the calls. 10 of diamonds on the turn. That brings the flush draw in for Dustin, so it'll be hard to see him going anywhere. Evan, of course, is going to go ahead and continue to bet here. $65 to call. Be a good time for Gayla to probably go away here now that the flush draw hits as well. just as I speak, people ignore. Dustin, wouldn't be surprised if he actually raises here, but he's going to probably just make this call. He does just make the call. Would be a very good position to raise with, though. And it is a 9 of diamonds. If Dustin makes that raise there, he might be able to pick up some more value here on the river. Even against Evan. Dustin going to bet about 175 here. $175 bet from Dustin. Evan really got to think about this here. He's got to try to decide whether he's being played by another king or if the diamonds actually hit for him. A little bit of both. He was ahead with the king, but Dustin catching up and running right on past him. What do you think he does, Tanya? Do you think he folds or do you think he calls?
I don't know. I hope he folds, but obviously, because I can see, I think he ends up calling though.
I think he probably ends up calling because he really believes he's playing against another king only. And although his kicker's not very high, Evan's kicker's not very high, so that's the only thing that may keep him from calling, in my opinion. You see what my opinion's worth. They always say, think long, think wrong, but he does fold. Good fold, a good way to get away from it there. He will see again, once again, Evan making the great fold. He'll be patting himself on the back all night long watching this live stream, that's for sure. He has. Dustin has been picking up a lot of flushes tonight. Tanya would know. She dealt them all to him. Most of them. I bet you... 1997. I bet nobody thanked you tonight for all the winning hands, but they probably cursed you for the losing one, didn't they?
I'm sure it's a mixed bag.
They don't verbally say thank you. They don't verbally say. That's why they don't verbally say it, because you guys get tips. We tip you for the winning hands. Why should we say thank you? We thank you with chips.
You, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're not. Hey, there you go. Well, hey, that's better than giving you chips when we lose. I'm not going to pay you for losing. I'll pay you with words. Sometimes not good words. Let's see if Chris is cussing at the end of this hand with pocket jacks. He's going to have pocket jacks. And Gayla's going to call with an ace 4 offsuit. Do see an ace on the board there, so Gayla is going to come out ahead at this point. 2 clubs on the board, so the 3rd club on the board opens up an opportunity now for Chris to be able to at least, well, never mind, he checked it and he's going to go away. Chris says, I don't care, I know you had the ace. The hand motions tell me exactly everything I need to know. Chris says, I don't care, I knew you had an ace, well, I folded. And if you had a club with it, I was still screwed. I read minds from back here. I just don't do it very well. Tanya wants to sit back here and make fun of me so bad to you guys. But she's too nice for that. Just ask her, she'll tell you.
That's self-control, though.
Oh, so she admits she wants to. She admits she wants to be mean. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Dustin wants to be mean with an 8-6 of clubs. He's going to make the call. Johnny Boy with the king jack off is going to raise it up to 20. Kid's going to fold everything. And Dustin making the call. So heads up to a flop here. 3 clubs on the flop would be kind of gross because it really doesn't matter at this point because John flops 2 pair. Thanks, Kinsey. It's all your fault. Flop. If she puts 3 clubs on the board, I can tell you all what I was thinking, but no one cares. Oh, John with the bet and the win. The way some of these players toss their tips to the dealer, all I can hear is, "Here, go buy yourself something nice," as they throw them $1 or $2. But every dollar adds up. Which games tip better? Do the bigger limit games, not limit games, do the bigger games tip better, like the 10-25 overall, or do these, like the 2-5, do you end up doing better tip-wise? Just curious.
It depends on who you have at the table more. So than the stakes, I think. But I guess the bigger games
Right.
around here.
Because typically the bigger games, the bigger pots, so therefore they're tipping bigger. Kings versus Queens. Of course, Dan here with 10-8 gets out of the way, and we're going to be heads up. Kid versus kid, technically. Evan's a kid as well. He's actually a lot young. It's funny. Evan might be is a lot younger than Kid, yet Kid might look younger than Evan. It's strange.
Good Lord, what is going on?
Kid flopping top set, and Evan trailing with kings. This is going to be a rough one here. Kid not ever very aggressive though, so Evan could get out of this a lot cheaper than against most players here, because most players are going to get super aggressive. Evan's going to read that as a pair of queens, maybe with an ace kicker, especially on this board with a 6 and a deuce and an 8. Evan's not putting anybody on 2 pair. Kid though with the shove of all in here, and it is going to get called. So all in and a call. Evan's going to be sick to his stomach unless he hits a king on the river, and he does not. They are going to run it twice, and Kid's going to win 2 out of 2.
I'm scared anytime Kid makes a snap bet, a snap call.
Yes. Yes, anyone should be scared if Kid makes a snap call. I'm surprised he made a snap call, to be honest, though. I'm surprised he didn't look at that board and get scared of pocket 6s or 8s making a boat. I don't know. I was just calling because I thought maybe, you never know. They could have had pocket 6s and pocket 8s. You just never know. And queens aren't really that strong there. They could be, but they might not be. And you know how that goes. And I love you, Kid. I love you. Kitten. Kevin, I didn't say that. That was Tall Tanya. She says I called you kitten. I would never do such a thing. Until the next stream, because that might actually work out well. They call him Kid, but he plays like a kitten. Just joking, Kid. Just joking. Don't be mad at me. I hope nobody takes any of this personally. I'm really just busted everyone's chops, and it's really awesome because as I'm not playing, no one can really bust mine except they can talk shit about me on here, and that's okay. Come on into the chat, say everything you got to say. I can take it, or I'll cry about it. I don't know. Tanya's trying not to spit water all over me. Not because she's laughing, just because she wants to spit water all over me. Shut me up. Johnny Boy making a call here of $70. Ace 4 versus 7-6. Queen 3-3. No help. Ace still ahead. No longer. Oh, gross. Ace 4 ahead until the 7 of diamonds hits. He wants to see the diamond. He just doesn't want to see the 7. Who was that? My bad, Evan. Sorry you lost that hand. To Johnny Boy, anyway. What? Evan's gone?
Sick beats.
That is kind of rough there. Well, Evan, I don't want to say you got your money's worth out of the amount of time you got to play, but because I don't think you'll believe that any more than I do. Gayla looking down at a 9-8 offsuit, and she's going to go away because she knows Johnny Boy with ace 10 is going to raise it up. Does he raise it up? Or just call? He raised it up. Dan looking down at a 5-4, could 3-bet. Probably just going to call heads up. John does not want him to call because he knows. John knows that he does not know what any flop could be damaging. This could be damaging for John right here. He knows Dan could be playing a 5 deuce. John's not going to play like it. He's going to bet it up for $20. And Dan going to go away. See what John has decent sized forearms. It's from stacking all those chips. You grab them like that and you stack them, and it just works out your forearms. If that's the case, though,
You clarified that.
if that was the case, though, Brenton should have some Popeye forearms. Him and AJ both should have Popeye forearms. For real. Those two stack more chips than freaking Lay's. Pringles doesn't stack chips like AJ. Yes. Brenton still complains about his 2022, and I think he got even on 2022 in January and February of 2023.
He's kicked ass on most of these live streams, right?
Oh yeah. He plays like everybody. He plays like Barry and AJ. Well, not AJ. Well, AJ too. He's been playing looser on these live streams. 7 deuce. These guys winning with 7 deuce and 5-3 and 3-2. You didn't see the hand earlier with 3 deuce. Chris folds a deuce to see a deuce, but Chris had a deuce. Oh, okay. So never mind. Excuse me. You heard it. I thought y'all couldn't lie. I thought y'all couldn't watch the live stream of the table.
We're not watching the live stream if he tells us after the hand what he folded.
Oh, he told you. Oh, very good. That's what I thought you were saying, and then you made me confused. Women confusing people all the time. Confusing people since Adam and Eve. Kid in the +1 with pocket 6s is still in the hand. There must not have been a raise. 7 on the turn. And a deuce on the river. So Kid gonna win this hand here. They must have checked it down. Dustin and Dan real close in chips, 15 and 1700. Dustin leading the way. Don't forget, if you're in here watching, go ahead and hit that like button. Nobody needs to worry about what that noise was. That wasn't me knocking stuff around or nothing. I don't make mistakes. Get that crap out of here. Made a mistake one time when I was 7. But I corrected it, so it doesn't really count. So, still waiting for my first one. I needed one more run. One run. Now I'm on tilt. Yeah, right. Chris with a 6-3 picking up the straight draw and goes right away. Johnny Boy heads up with Dan. 8 on the river. Thanks, John. Thanks for getting your cards scanned there, sir. You're really helping out the guy in the back talking crap on you while not showing me your cards.
Multi-flat call, maybe probably on kings.
30. You're a big blind.
Oh, I am?
Yep. 25 more. 30 total.
Oh.
Alright,
Damn.
up.
Gross.
I'm gonna get you
All the $10.
Going crazy.
15.
King queen for the win.
Ace queen.
I don't know what's happening outside the booth here, but they're going crazy. I hear a lot of laughing and cackling. Yes, I said cackling.
I know, that's not 30 minutes. I'm gonna go back and watch it. Ace queen, that wasn't
Pat bringing up bad memories. Thanks a lot, Pat. I mean, I'm glad you're coming in and chatting in here, but you know, bringing up the fact that you slow rolled me with quad aces is kind of painful still. You only have to do it once. I mean, that's like a severe stab wound. I'm healed from it, but don't be tearing the scar open, bro. For the most part. Lock down a loser. Gala with Big Slick off suit now. Just making the flat call. Chris on the button, straddle. He's going to check, and we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with some not so great hands that could very well be ace king. 10 jack 3 on the flop. Dang picking up the pair, top pair. Deuce on the turn, no help. Does bring in the wheel draw for Chris, though. Although I don't think Chris will be staying around making that call to see. $25 is the bet. And Gala making the call. As suspected, Chris not going to hang around for a gutty. So we're heads up to the river. Gala needing an ace or a queen only. And she does not find it, so... Dan going to check over to Gala, and Gala not going to take a chance to try to push him off of it. She's going to show, and she's going to lose. So Dan picking up the $57 profit. Pat, we need to see you on one of the live streams again here soon. Hadn't seen you in a while, at least not in the live stream. Need to get you and Joseph in here, side by side. Dustin and Dan still leading the way with 1,700 and 1,600 chips. Kid with 1,000 now. Gala looking pretty good at 984. Dan with pocket 10s and Gala with 8-7 suited now. Ramiro, the plan is we have a 10-25 no limit on Friday night. That is our schedule. We have a consistent schedule. There are times that it does not make, but our current schedule for live stream is Monday and Wednesday night is a 2-5 no limit. Friday night is a 10-25 no limit game, and then Sunday is a 1-2 no limit game. That is our schedule, and that's what we have going this week. So, and as always, our cash games, the doors open at 1 p.m. and cash games run until they shut down. So, yeah, I mean, there'll definitely be a game on Friday, whether or not it's our live stream 1025 or if it's just the day game continuing on. We'll just have to wait and see. So we're 7-handed right now. Shane bringing up the bottom end right now with 239 in chips.
Chris holds
50.
50.
So ace king versus ace king now. Kid with suited suited ace king, while Dustin with off suit. Shane with cards that we can't see at this point in time. going to get a raise to 50 from Kid and a 3-bet from Dustin to 125. And I would be willing to suspect here that with a $960 stack, you're probably going to see Kid go away here. He does go away. He folds the ace-king. Show him the ace-king, Dustin. Dustin's showing him the ace-king offsuit. Goodness. A great 3-bet from Dustin. He gets Kid off of that hand. Kid with a 20% VPIP at the bottom, and Dan still sitting there with a 56% VPIP. Gala right in the middle at 29%. So Dan in the small blind, Gala in the big blind. See if we pick up a straddle of any kind here. Chris with the king 10, but he is going to miss that hand.
And you're proud of it? What the hell?
And I want to go back over there because I already got those queens I want to move. Yeah, because we both would have missed. I checked. He's going to bet. I fold. You again? So I basically saved $75 because we're both probably going to miss. I check. He's probably going to bet. I'm going to fold. Seriously. Unless I hit close.
No, it's my fault. I should have said something. I forgot to call
It is now.
Johnny Boy with 6-5 and Dan with king jack, and the flop is king 4. So Dan leading now for $10, and John going to go ahead and make the call.
I'm waiting to see a turn, see if I hit.
9 of diamonds on the turn. No help for either player really, but Dan doesn't need the help. John going to go away after that bet.
That's his money. I got to talk strategy with Peter right here. Go back over there. This piece, so. You should thank me. You got my hand? No problem.
Alright, Shane's moving back into the one.
We start calling you Jim.
Well, you're on that seat, you cannot pull ace king.
No, I won't.
You cannot pull ace
You pull the ace queen too.
What's he gonna tell us next? He's holding kings
I
face
got a
up?
$10 straddle on the button.
Yeah, if you go all in, it's gonna 14.
Well, we just saw ace king suited folded to ace king off.
Pre-flop
Pre-flop.
for $50.
It's 75.
For
75 more?
Yeah, we know.
I'm at 50. You make it
I
one.
thought you were talking about me. I would fold king. I was like, yes, absolutely. I'll fold.
I thought you could have a queens. I was thinking ace king works.
Sadly.
Kid looking down at pocket 10s here. He's going to raise that up a little bit. He's going to raise it up to $40, it looks like. Or no, raises up to 20. Let's see if he gets 3-bet into a loss here. And Shane does move back to the 1 seat. He realized quickly that was not a very good seat. So Kid with pocket 10s now going to bet it up. Dan with 10-9. And he's going to go away, and Kid's going to pick up that win. Pat, you made a comment and then retracted it. What's up with that? Come on now.
Carter said Charles was behind commenting. He can't. He's commentating.
When he's done.
And
We got about 40 more minutes with you guys, so I want to thank y'all for getting in here and continuing to watch the stream tonight. Dustin with an ace-queen offsuit, raising to $20. Dan making the call, folding around the table. It's going to be Shane with a call as well. Actually, Shane raising. Shane 3-betting. Shane going to 3-bet to what looks like to be $90. It's 80. 3-bet to $80. Dustin with the call, and of course Dan with cards that we cannot see.
Yeah.
No help.
Let's see, Mo.
And Dan with the call, so we're going to be 3 ways to a flop. Jack 5, 7, 2 hearts on the flop. No help for the only hand we can see. Shane, though, moving all in for $157. Literally, they're playing with blanks. Shane moving in with blanks. Some of these players are just so loose, they'll play with blanks. Dan now going to be the only one left with a decision after Dustin folds. So we may never know what anyone has on this hand.
Only hand I can beat is ace king. I mean ace king.
Pat's saying he's been watching a lot of WSOP, trying to learn how to play poker again. Well, keep up the good fight, Pat. Keep up the good fight. We believe in you.
Well, come see us, we'll teach you.
Tanya says she'll teach you for a fee. Joseph says you should read his book. Says it's a real how-to.
I hear a lot of people around here have books.
Yeah, he's not the only one. I have a bestseller. It's in the comedy section, though, so it's hard to find. All that thinking to fold. Come on, Shane, show your cards for once. Great job, Kinsey. Way to not put him over the sensor. Shane picking up a good pot there, though. Brings him all the way back up to last in chips.
Because I took your seal away. That's why you play ace queen. You got 3-bet. Well, you have ace queen, 3-bet, ace queen, right?
All he three bets is kings and aces.
No. 9s or higher.
I love the hand gestures. You can tell when someone's really frustrated. And then the laugh. Go from frustrated to having fun. King 4 for Dustin. King 8 for Kid. Kid folding King 8 and Dustin going ahead and making a call with King 4. Gayla with a 10 deuce and John Boy with a 10-3, both going to go away. Can't imagine a scenario where Mr. V-Pip calls 10 deuce. Heads up with 8-4 versus King 4. And an ace 8 on the flop. Shane picking up the lead. And a 7 on the turn. If Shane does not make a move here, Dustin will. Shane is going to reach for chips, and Dustin's going to reach for the fold pile. Why would he make any unnecessary calls? He's got 1,700 in front of him. Dan with 1,500 right behind him. Johnny Boy at 602 while Shane bringing up the caboose of the train there. 384, and how ironic. He does work for the railroad. I thought you sat in the engine, though, not the caboose. Shane, come on. Pick it up, sir.
Don't talk to me after folding ace queen. Don't ever talk to
I know my dad jokes are real. I'm going to step away and take a little bit of a break, let you guys listen to the table chatter. I'm sure it's real intriguing with this lineup. I'll be back here in just a minute.
I knew you had ace king at worst because I just folded ace queen for the $30 bet. You know how time I'm playing when I make a check. He's got to have ace king at worst because he knows how tight I'm playing him. So he wanted so surely he wanted 3-bet. But really, I thought you had queens and jacks maybe.
Check.
most of the time when two players have the same hand, the more aggressive player wins the game. So they play it out 100%.
Call fold.
Yeah, I don't regret the fold. We only got one. That's it.
Final.
Oh, it's 20?
Yeah. Three cards.
King.
Yep. Check. You wanna. Ace. Straight.
What? He flopped it?
6 high straight.
And you just checked? Why not?
King of clubs,
Tighter
no
than
space.
him.
Hell no. I play ace queen.
There we go,
I
that's
beg
what
to
I'm talking
differ.
about.
I beg to differ on that one.
I would play ace queen. You just flat call? I can't play this game.
And then check the river.
I checked the river. Cannot play this game. I'm tighter than a sewn
Save me
asshole.
some money. $10 or so.
What's wrong with not playing loose? I don't understand.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think they're saying
It's like the new thing.
Get
You
off
just
into the
throw your
middle.
money away as fast as you can.
Or you get chips and now you're happy? You pull the ace queen?
No, they're saying like how they're all talk shit about us playing tight. Like what's wrong about not playing loose?
Oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. I'm just saying you're tight. That's it. I'm not saying anything wrong with it.
go on in.
It's a good thing.
Fold. 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 Good. Fold. Winner.
King, queen. Nah, I'm just kidding.
We'll move down.
Took your part too.
Thank you. Horchata wiener. Dark tails. Dark tails. The little jellyfish. To the shrimp.
We'll see, I guess.
What color you want?
Red.
Yours is
Pink.
high.
Yeah, pink. No, all the options are pink.
Well, I pulled it for almost 2 hours.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'll play.
Dang, you're gonna be a big one.
But he did pull his ace queen ace.
Yeah, but that first I raised, so that counts as increasing my
This hand I win.
I volunteered to take 50 before I made 50.
Right.
Wow, they swing with ace king.
It's good. Too cool. Aw.
Anytime you put chips in the pot without being one of the blinds.
Sound like 50.
That's
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
That's Robo, right?
I got scared for a minute.
He said 50. 15.
Peace. Oh.
Let's get him, guys. Let's get him.
But I can
Five
build
cents.
pot for everybody.
Yeah.
I hope it's for me. Touche.
Check raise.
Check. Oh, wait, that's 30. That's a cup. Shane calls.
Did I say check raise? I'm buying it to do that.
One
Walking back just in time to see a dirty, dirty hand here flopping. The case 4 hits. John with the pair of 4s leading out. And Shane just flat calling with aces. Dan raising it up to 120. 130, excuse me. So Dan raising it up to 130. Shane only folds here if he really believes that Dan could be holding the ace 5. I don't know that he's really not going to be looking at anything else, and he does not believe him, so he's going to make the call. Oh, no, he makes the fold. Great fold by Shane. Wow. That is a very good laydown. Not a lot of players will lay down pocket aces in that scenario.
It's the only way I can win on this game is bluff.
I mean, me, I would. I mean, I would. I said I would.
No, all your chips are in there before Dan gets his bet out.
I don't like my co-host. My temporary co-host here is about to be banned. Can we get somebody from the FCC in here? Does FCC even monitor this shit? I say shit? Huh?
Makes it 30.
Dustin with pocket kings and Gayla with ace 10. Don't know if Kenzie's going to see it if she don't stay off her
Oh
phone.
my god, it says ASMR.
Just kidding, Kenzie. Don't be getting sore on me. Kenzie doing a great job in the box. I can't complain. She probably, I don't know, she might be the, I don't know, she might be the best female dealer that we've got.
Gotta be.
I'm just teasing. We got good dealers all the way around. Tanya's great. Kenzie's great.
All of us tied for first.
Everyone's tied for first. I like it. And that's the mantra in 2023. Everybody holds hands and crosses the finish line together.
Anticipation.
We're all winners.
155.
That's exactly what I think about running it when people run it multiple times. Let's hold hands and cross the finish line together. So Dustin gonna make the call here of 155. Dan, of course, with cards we don't get to see, because why would we? Thank you. Someone told him to scan them. Thank you, Carter.
Did it work?
It did not work though. Dan now with a 4-card straight on the board, very much in charge probably with that raise pre-flop. I mean, after the flop. And he is going to make a huge bet here. Dustin really going to have to decide whether he believes that any of those undercards, and he makes the snap call. He makes a pretty quick call here. I wouldn't call it a snap call, but it was close. And at this point, I think he's pretty much committed. Oh, no. What a river card, though. Even if Dan does not have anything, the way he's been playing this hand, it makes it hard for Dustin to make any kind of significant call. If I'm bluffing here this entire time and I'm in Dan's position, I'm certainly making a huge bet here. I don't think that Dustin is able to make a call here. 4 cards straight on the board and 2 nines. Just don't believe he's able to make a call. Could be wrong. Kenzie was trying to make a call. It looked like it anyway. And he does. He makes the huge bet here for 550. 525. Pardonnez-moi. Oh, is Dustin going to make the call here? This could be the call of the century or the call of the century. Either way, it's going to be the call of the century. Oh, no. Could he lose most of his stack in one call? How gross would this be? We have got to get this hand scanned. This is gross. Carter, damn it, take charge, son. You're watching this stuff live. Tell them to scan their cards. Oh, I so want to see what Dan has. For as well as Dustin has played all night long, I'm a little bit surprised that he is contemplating this call. He has played a really good game to this point. Of course, a lot of hands have really come his way too. So, thinking back, this could be one of the very few spots he's actually had to really make a tough decision like this. I'm snap. I mean, I'm snap folding this, but I think I might have even folded the turn. I know you don't believe that, but I would have probably folded the turn with a 4 card straight on the board. Call me a nit, which no one has ever done ever. Need your input. I can let everyone know how much of a nit I am not without your help. Kid's very bored. He's spinning in his chair. I can almost hear him saying, "Wee!" Oh, and he makes the call. Was it the greatest call in the world, or was it the terrible call? Why don't we get to see it? Oh, it was a 9. He does have the 9. He has a boat. 9-7 for the boat. Gross. He was ahead from the flop. Oh, man. That is painful. That is like a kick to the kneecap.
Where do you see the 9-7 pop up before it popped up?
I saw the cards. I could see them. I could make them out. Oh, geez. Dan now with a commanding chip lead at 2,600. Oh, what a gross, gross hand for for Dustin. That's a tough move either way. The turn, the call on the turn, I think is what dictates that decision on the river, which is exactly, honestly, why I believe I fold there on the turn, because I don't want to make that decision on the river. And the 9 made it the worst. Oh, that's gross. Tough hand for Dustin, very tough. Congratulations to Dan, though. That's a great bet. A great bet there. Johnny Boy raising to 25 now, moving on to the next hand. Chris with blind cards making the call. Dustin and Dan, he prefers to be called Dan for some reason. King 3 on the flop. Chris with the only cards that we can't see, probably the man with the king if there is one. Dan gonna take a stab at this. He's gonna bet it to $40, pocket 4s. Johnny Boy with Queen Jack gonna go away, and Chris clearly not with a king. So, oh, here's the man. Sir, could you please tell these people, scan their hands, because I almost had a heart attack watching Dan beat Dustin with pocket kings because I couldn't see his cards.
Oh, and it wasn't his fault.
Oh, yeah.
The card wasn't, there was a few cards in those decks that don't like to scan sometimes, but we got that, well, it'll be fixed for next stream. Sometimes the cards just stop working midstream, and that's why it's like that. But the 7 of clubs was one of them, so that's why it wasn't showing up. I was sitting there like thinking he had pocket 7s, but 9-7 suited was also good there.
Well, I told Tanya, I think the call on the turn is what dictated him calling on the river, because that's what I told her. I fold on the turn. With the 4-card straight, I fold those kings. I'm sorry, but I do. She doesn't believe me. She laughs at me.
I don't think that
she
would.
scoffs at me.
I mean, considering there was worse plays in this stream.
No. I didn't say. I'm not knocking the play. I mean, Dustin's been doing great all night. I'm just saying, I think the call on the turn dictated the call on the river, and that's exactly why I fold on the turn if it's me, because I don't want to make that decision on the river. I know that a big bet's coming on the river, and an 8, 9, 10 of spades. We got 3 spades in hands here. Of course, Gala with the ace of spades. And there's a straight flush draw. Dan with the queen 9, but Shane here with the nut straight so far. Well, the straight. It's not the nuts, because there's a flush possibility.
It is the nut straight, though.
It is the nut straight.
Chris calls with the top pair.
All right, 4 ways to a river. So everybody wanting to see, and it's
a 7 of clubs.
It's a 7 of clubs. 7 of clubs, so no help. Shane now with the winning hand. Let's see if he gets to see it. He will. He's going to check around the table, and Shane's going to pick up the win with Jack high straight.
And here you'll see it mucked his hand because he put it over the muck thing, but regardless, Shane did win the hand. It'll show in a second.
So Shane picking up that pot. Could have gone a multitude of ways. 7 or a queen of spades would have been extremely gross, because Gala would have been sitting there probably believing that ace of high flush was good. Then we would have had a whole new bag of tricks to talk about.
Just so you know, the stream will
Or maybe it's just a Jack now.
So looks like I'll get 2 minutes of overtime here, fellas.
Don't spend it all in one place.
I'll try not to buy a piece of bubble gum.
Or buy yourself something nice.
Oh, yes, that's right. Throw me $1 and tell me to buy myself something nice.
I think of what's the word when you're dyslexic, but when you speak, not when you eat?
Oh, here's where we're hearing all the laughing and cackling earlier.
Handicap.
And we still don't know what was so funny.
You just say if you're not dyslexic.
Thanks.
If you're not dyslexic,
Leave us out. Leave us out in the
No,
cold here.
she said, what do you call dyslexic, but not when you read, when you talk? And he said, retarded?
Three-handed with garbage cards. And one man's trash is another man's treasure. Pair of sixes for Johnny Boy, and we know he's going to take full advantage of that. He doesn't. Wow, he didn't bet it. Fold, fold. Dustin's on a mission to get those chips back. From somewhere, from anywhere. He'll do it $22 at a time if he must. Johnny Boy now at 507 in chips. Bringing up the bottom of the scale. And Dan with that massive chip lead at 2,600. Thanks to Pocket Kings.
Button the straddle.
I was going to say, Mr. Dan did not get his second card, and we have a misdeal. Not at the way he's going. He needs one. He needs one card and one card only. Every hand.
You're supposed to be slow.
What'd you say, Carter?
No, I know. Pocket here too. That's what made me make that call.
Really believe in Oho. We were giving her Oho. That's why she couldn't. She was fumbling the cards.
It's on Christopher.
I'm telling you, it's true.
Oh, the straddle's on John.
All of my Hispanic friends growing up, they warned us about Oho. You stare at something, you give it Oho. Don't make me stare at you and give you Oho, girl. Don't make me give you Oho, mija. I'm gonna have to ask Shane after this stream, what is up with the name? Shane Lowe. Looky there, looky there. Little Miss Tanya making an appearance back at the table. Probably to tell Kinsey, hey, you're doing a pretty good job, but I'm gonna give you some tips for later. And Kinsey says, I got this, puts her hand up, and a cat fight ensues here in just a second. Jello, where's the Jello? Oh, damn it. Never mind. It's not gonna happen here. No Jello fight, guys. Sorry. Thought we were gonna have one. Kayla folding and Johnny Boy picking up the win. Massive pot. $25 for Johnny. I wish you wouldn't put that on there, Johnny Boy. Just don't even like saying Johnny. Made me think of Jack Nicholson. And Gayla might literally be the only person at the table. Probably Chris. Here's Johnny. Do you know what it's from? Okay, I'm surprised. Tanya's kind of a young kid, so surprised she knew about the shiny. What, a young kid? Come on. Oh. That movie's so old, Jack Nicholson didn't look almost as old as he does. there are just some actors that have been old forever. Sam Elliott has been old since like 1975. The man's had great. Morgan Freeman has been old since. Golly. I can't make jokes. Everybody get pissy. Morgan Freeman's been old forever. Who else? Who were we just talking about? Jack Nicholson. Morgan Freeman. Just several. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's been old forever. Clint Eastwood has been old in almost every movie I've ever seen him in. He starred in a movie before there were movies and he was old in that movie. Is that Evan still strolling around the place? The man quit playing like an hour ago. Go home, man. Or get back on the table. He did take a pretty rough beat tonight. Feel bad for him. And then I remember how much money he's won, and then I don't feel bad for him. Pair of jacks for John. So John just taking care of the table like he owns the place now. Moving all the way up to next to last in chips. It's a good thing. Oh, Shane is at the table. Thought that was an empty seat there for a while. He hadn't played a hand.
She is jamming.
Well, it's called jamming or dancing, shaking. She's got a sweatshirt on. Why does she have a sweatshirt on? Is it that cold in there? Jeez. It's been burning up. It's like 106 today. Don't care how.
You know that Lubbock weather, though.
Yeah. Oh, I know the Lubbock weather. 107 today, 77 tomorrow. I prefer the 77. At least until the lake. Then it can get up to 195. Raised to $20 by Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy. Oh, that makes me want to say that. This table has turned into an extremely tight table all of a sudden. Shane with the King 9 suited makes the call, and Gala with Ace 7 as well. So we are three-handed to a flop. And we have a 3-4-6, so Gala picking up a straight draw. John, of course, going to continuation bet as the book tells him to do. Going to get a fold here from Shane more than likely. He could make a call with overs, but he does not, as I suspected. Gala, however, though, with the straight draw, going to make the call. And you could see a check on the turn, depending on what hits. Cannot see that it is not a 5. Looks like it could be a 7. It is a 7. So Gala now with a pair. So it is, but it does go check, just as I suspected, and an 8 on the river. So an 8 going to give Gala still the lead hand, but John not trying to take advantage of anything, so he's going to fold the losers. About 15 more minutes with you guys here. Don't want to go away without reminding you, doors open every day at 1 p.m. We are located at 5004 Frankfort Avenue here in Lubbock. Tuesday night, we have our $3,000 guarantee. Always a really good tournament. $120 maximum buy-in, $45 minimum buy-in. Thursdays, we have our $100 bounty tournament. $100 buy-in, $25 bounty for everybody that you knock out. And then our mostly bi-weekly $10,000 guarantee. Again, we have not had it on schedule here recently just because we had consecutive holidays. Father's Day on Sunday, of course, and then the 4th of July coming up. So we will have that $10,000 guarantee next Saturday, July 8th.
I got some more straw on the button. Carter. Sorry. Or Mickey Mouse, whatever.
That's what I'm hearing. Is that fucking Mickey Mouse on here?
So guys, just because the live stream cuts off here in just a little bit, this table will continue to play. So if you decide to get out and about, come on in and buy in and sit down at the table. It's a 2-5 no limit game. Of course, after the live stream cuts off, the game could change a little bit. Sometimes they add in bomb pots and stuff like that. So come check it out. John just playing garbage cards and flopping 2 pair. I mean, it's just how it works for people like him.
In what scenario did you say you'd never see him play 10 deuce?
In a scenario where there was 5, I don't know. Never mind. I'm being shocked left and right here tonight. Kids V-pips, double digits. John is playing 10 deuce. Just don't even know what to say. Dan tightening up all of a sudden, not playing many hands now that he's at 2,600. Kid at 973 second in chips, and Gala with 902.
Good luck in Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Chris with a Jack 7 of hearts here. Gonna make this call from the straddle. Gala with a 10-5 folding, and Johnny Boy with a King 5 going to go ahead and make that call. Getting close to the end of the night here, and so Johnny's probably going to be playing a few more hands. We have 9-7-7. Chris flopping trip 7s, and Dan flopping a pair of 9s. 2 clubs now on the board. That's not really any help for anyone. That's not no club flush possibility. Chris with his trip 7s and Dan with his 9. And oh my gosh, what a gross hand. Chris with trip 7 or 7s full of 9s and Dan with 9s full of 7s. Dan gonna raise this up here. And Chris with a great fold. Good fold. Not to get caught up. I mean, it's not a super hard fold, but it's sometimes you get caught up in the idea that you have the boat and you don't even think about that higher card being out there. So, good fold by Chris. Way to slow down and not make the snap call thinking, you know, that you have a great hand because you have a boat. So good fold from Chris. He's going to straddle the button here. $10 to go. Shane will be first to act. Shane with pocket nines and Dustin with big slick offsuits. So we could have a fairly big hand here. Shane gonna make this, just make a call here. Dustin, however, gonna raise it up. Looks like to about 35. 45, excuse me. 45 to call. Gayla with the fold, John with the fold as well. And Chris with the fold. So it's gonna be heads up. Shane and Dustin to the flop. Oh no, Shane folding pocket nines? Wow. So Shane folds pocket nines to a $20 raise. That's just insane. John with a king nine of spades here going to make a call. He could even make a raise. He does make a raise to $20. Chris with ace jack suited and Shane with ace 10 suited as well. And John's sitting over there with jack 10 suited, so he's got one of each of their outs, and he is far behind.
You got jack 10 off.
Did I say suited?
Yeah.
Oh, well, close enough. They're both red. They're suited colors. Chris with the nut flush draw, though. So he flops pretty well. No help for anyone else. So Chris still leading the way with ace jack.
Well, Dustin does get the pair of sixes, though.
Oh, yeah, Dustin does get the pair of sixes. I missed that. So Dustin leading the way with a pair of sixes. King of diamonds, though, on the turn. And that just about sews it up for Chris.
It also gives Dustin two pair, though.
It does give Dustin two pair, but just saying, it's pretty much sews it up for Chris. And the River Club does sew it up for Chris. So Chris can pretty much only lose if he goes into a coma and has an aneurysm. But he does not. Dustin with $444 decides he is going to make the call and sees the bad news. So a very good turn card for Chris. Gives him the nut flush, but it also brings in Dustin with the two pairs. So Dustin taking a bit of a hit here, going from chip lead to right around the bottom. That's tough way to go. He lost that huge hand to Dan. About 5 more minutes here, guys. Probably 2 or 3 more hands at the max.
I think it'll be 2. I think the button ended on John. Or so 3, I guess, including this one.
John calling the straddle 10 with a 8-5 off. Three ways to the flop. Dan with a 9-2 of clubs and a king jack on the flop. No help to anyone. So the ace still ahead at this point, and an ace on the turn now. Dustin's winning the hand. He can't lose the hand unless he folds, but he does bet it up and he does get folds. So Dustin picking up a few chips here, picks up $22 in chips. He does move out of that bottom spot by $2. Chris right there in the middle at $8.20, and of course Dan at $2,600. Haven't seen Dan play really many hands since he took that big pot. Probably going to tighten up and then cash out if I was guessing. Dustin with pocket fives. Gonna just flat call here for 5. Gayla with pocket 10s. Literally doubling them up. She's gonna raise it up to 20. It's a $20 bet here from Gayla. Chris with the 9-7 of diamonds is gonna make the call. Kind of a rough hand to make that call with, just because he does have unders, but could also turn out to be great because 9-7 on the flop would give him 2 pair, but it is 2 overs, so opens the door for a lot of things to happen. Gayla gonna continue to be aggressive with her cards. She's gonna bet it up to $40 here. Chris with the 9-7 with just a pair of 7s. He's gonna make the call, which probably slow Gayla down on the turn. But Gayla is also not one to back away. 2 of spades, so it doesn't help either player. But she does make the check. It was a check. And Chris likely, with the 2 hitting the board, Chris likely is going to lead out here. But he does not. He checks. He does check. Gayla shows down the 10s, and Chris goes away. A little bit surprised that when Gayla checked back to him and that deuce hits the river that Chris doesn't at least take a stab at that. But what do I know? So I believe this is going to be our last hand here of the night. Well, thank you guys for coming into the stream and watching. If you're still watching, before you leave, click that like button for us. And as far as we know, tune in Friday night for the 10:25 No Limit live stream. I will not be here for that live stream, so don't know if someone else will be or if you'll get to hear all the table chatter, but as it sits, we will have a 10:25 No Limit on Friday and then a 1-2 limit on No Limit on Sunday. 10-7 deuce on the flop. Johnny Boy with the straight draw. Gayla with the straight draw, or Dan with the straight draw as well. Gayla with cards yet to be seen. The bet's 25 from John, and I'm guessing we're going to get 1 call, maybe no calls. Nope, Gayla does make the call, so we're heads up now. Gayla's cards again not seen. I would be willing to bet she has a 10 in her hand, but that spade's going to slow anybody down. We're going to get a check and a check. And the river, 5 of clubs. So 5 of clubs. John going to bet the $50 or $75, excuse me. Gayla looking down. Either missed her overs or I think she missed her over cards is what I feel like. All right, guys. John's going to win the last hand of the night. He's going to take down a pot, $177. Dan's going to be our big winner tonight, so far at least. 2,600 in chips. He's going to be up about 2,100 or so. Gayla, though, doing pretty well. She's going to be up around 300. Oh, she's up 600. All right, you guys have a good night. Be safe. There's the cumulative winnings. Gayla with 600 wins in winnings. Shane up at 200 and Dustin up just a little bit now at $36. We'll see you guys next time.